the Democratic Party. Nike. Now, yes, Nike's co-founder is very Republican. However, the other 83% of the company supports the Democratic Party. $894,000 in 2024. Dior. Now, Dior does not give to politics, but some of their employees do, and 84% of their donations went to Democrats in 2024. Adidas. Adidas also does not give to politics, but a lot of their employees do, as 97% of their employees' donations went to Democrats. Gucci. Gucci also does not donate to politics, but their employees do, and 84% of their employees' donations went to the Democratic Party. Chanel. Chanel also does not give to politics, but guess what? 99% of their employees donated to Democrats in 2024. I would hate to be that guy in the 1%. This has been WCPT telling you how you can shop blue.
Driving it home with Patty Vasquez.
John Fugelsang joins us. Oh my God, John, I need you so badly. I need your humor. I need your brilliance.
I want to thank you for all you're doing, because CPT is like this incredible beating heart of progressive talk radio. And my first time at your studios was in, I think, 2012. And I just can't believe that how CPT keeps rolling and keeps inspiring. I give you credit for the Pope.
I'll take that, even if he's a Sox fan. We'll take it.
Patty Vasquez. Weeknights 5 to 7 on WCPT 820.
How do you know you're home? At Habitat for Humanity, we believe it's when you find peace, stability, and safety. But 1 in 3 people on Earth woke up today without a good home. Not because of chance, but because of high costs and other very real barriers. A housing crisis this big needs all of us. So let's open the door to opportunity and build a tomorrow where home is possible for everyone. Visit Habitat.org to learn more. Again, that's Habitat.org. Habitat for Humanity. Let's open the door.
NBC News Radio, I'm Rob Martier. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney says retaliatory tariffs on the United States will begin on September 8th. He announced the move at a morning news conference in response to the Trump administration's new 50% tariffs on Canadian goods.
Canadian exports to the United States lower costs for American families. In contrast, tariffs are taxes.
Carney said he will release more details in the coming days, adding that his government takes the step reluctantly. The new U.S. tariffs went into effect at midnight after trade talks with Canada collapsed. The tariffs impact roughly $20 billion worth of Canadian imports. President Trump says construction on the White House ballroom is running ahead of schedule, a day after the Supreme Court temporarily allowed work to continue. Trump praised the project in a morning post on Truth Social, saying tremendous work has been done. On Friday, Chief Justice John Roberts ruled the work could temporarily resume on the ballroom, pending the High Court's review of an emergency appeal of a lower court's ruling by the White House. New research says the San Andreas Fault may be slipping faster than originally thought. Rich Cassone has details.
The city is preparing an audit of its Flock camera system after finding out that its data was shared nationwide. Flock Safety CEO Garrett Langley reassured,
"We don't own the data, our customers do."
Palo Alto's police chief said the cameras have helped solve cases and locate missing persons. Critics want to make sure the value isn't overridden by misuse of the data. An independent police auditor will conduct the review. I'm Rich Cassone.
Indy cars will be racing on the streets of Washington, D.C. on Sunday for the Freedom 250 Grand Prix. The race will start and finish on 3rd Street in front of the U.S. Capitol and run 147 laps. Warm-ups begin at 9 a.m., the race at 1 p.m. Eastern. The Freedom 250 will be aired live on Fox TV, and it will stream on Fox One. Rob Martier, NBC News Radio.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
You are listening to Think Theory Radio.
Hello and welcome to Think Theory Radio, the show that brings you topics outside the mainstream realm of thought and ideas to make you think. I'm your host, Damian Perdue, your guide on this historical ride of future predictional delights. I don't know if predictional is a word, but... And of course, I'm joined by Paulie C.
Yo, yo, yo.
And today... Well, first off, so... before I get into what
the C stand for century or something.
There you go. I couldn't think of one. See, you got it. I knew you'd come up with something, Paul.
Thank you.
But I was looking into, I think about like the book 1984 and Brave New World and how a lot of what they talked about in those books is kind of occurring now with a lot of like surveillance state and the way language has changed and drugs and everything like that. But so I was kind of digging into what inspired Orwell to write the book, and I ended up just kind of finding these articles from 1926 about what people then, and actual like scientists, theologians, educators, thought life would be like in 2026.
Okay.
So I thought that was kind of interesting that one. There was, several of them. I found like 3 or 4 different articles. One even is with Nikola Tesla, an interview with Nikola Tesla in 1926.
Oh, wow.
And so I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. Let's see. Let's dive into what people thought life would be like 100 years ago. Well, like 100 years ago, what it would be like now.
Yeah.
And then I did find some other, there's another one from like 50 years ago and another one from the early 2000s what people thought life would be like now, but we'll see if we get to those. But I just thought, it's interesting what they got right or close to, what is completely wrong, what is some of the kind of opposing views. There's like one where, the guy thought like, oh, well, there's going to be no immigration because there'll be no borders. And then another guy was like, no, immigration is going to be worse because it's going to be isolationists and everyone's going to be closed in, And so I thought it was just, it's kind of cool to see, where people were. But not only that, but how similar things were in 1926 to now.
Okay. In
kind of psychological way and kind of some of the events that were happening at the time. I mean, it's they just got through with the World War. They just had a massive pandemic, like we're coming off of, right? Because this was 1918 to 1920 was the huge flu
Spanish
pandemic.
Flu. Yeah.
Now we haven't had a world war, but we've definitely been dealing with a lot of war in recent years, and for a long time. But also the kind of the similarities of, well, one, it was also a major birthday. It was the 150th birthday of the United States of America back then, which is now the 250th. But you also had this fears of like technological unemployment that we have now, the same thing, because back then it was mechanical. Like this was when, factories first started adopting like a lot of automation and people were freaking out. They're like, we're going to lose.
So you're saying we have nothing to worry about with like AI and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In 100 years, we'll do this list again. And
the list will do itself in 100 years.
Yeah, exactly. But also you think like, you're coming off of there of like the robber barons, the Gilded Age, all that kind of thing, where it's, like a bunch of that back then millionaires that were controlling the wealth, and everyone thought, you had this economic anxiety because of this. And now it's a mirror of this, the tech bros and all this big money, billionaire, trillionaires.
So you're saying we're headed for a crash in 3 years, like a market crash and a depression and...
Well, no, I'm not. I'm not making that kind of prediction. I mean, I'm not an economist. So I wouldn't want to go there.
Not in the prediction business. I just think it's funny when we talk about that. Like, it's like, yeah, we're in the same predicament we were 100 years ago. Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Like, so radio back then was
happy belated National Radio Day.
There you go. Yeah. See, and that was the thing. But it was to them, what I don't know, I guess, what now kind of social media or TV is, it was very similar. People either loved it or they feared it. They had similar thoughts about, well, radio is going to change people's, minds. It's going to create groupthink, and no one's going to be thinking for themselves because they're just going to think what the radio tells them to think.
Okay, but, I mean, it seems like TikTok trends and stuff like that, people tend to, but at the same time,
sure.
At the same time, you can always tune out, and there's a lot of people that have completely turned off and tuned out.
Yeah. Well, I know. Yeah, I know. Like a lot of the Gen Alpha kids are kind of backing up from such deep pull into that stuff. Like I was reading an article about how a lot of them are following influencers that don't even post, which I don't really understand how that works. But but there's like, I just saw like Commodore, the brand, the computer brand Commodore. They actually released a new flip phone called the Commodore Callback, and it's a smartphone, but with no social media.
It's still a company? I thought. Okay.
I guess so. Or they're making a comeback. I don't know what to call that.
Smartphone with no social media?
And it's a flip phone.
Okay.
They're kind of cool looking. It's like kind of a clear. You can see
I get it. Yeah, because there's some people that are like, man, I just want like a phone. So
it's like you can still surf the internet. There's you can still use WhatsApp.
Yeah.
You can put songs on there and stuff like that. It comes with a pair of headphones, but it's meant to detach from social media, and they're targeting the younger crowd with it, so there's stuff like that, changes, fluctuates, but, then it was, you had this fear of technology in a lot of similar ways that we do have now, but you also had this fear of, women's rights. Like, well, the mirrors stuff today, right? I mean, this was when women were really starting to enter the workforce. They had just got the right to vote. I mean, women had only voted in 2 presidential elections in 1926. Some of the other part of it is how different it was back then. So like roughly half of the U.S. still counted as rural, and tens of millions of Americans back then had no indoor plumbing or electricity. There was like thick smoke from oil lamps that they would use in the homes. They didn't have,
Yeah, that's true. The amount of pollution that there probably was naturally in the home and outside the home, for sure.
I mean, street lamps, gas lights,
Let me ask you something, because you and I are a little bit of the older than average age, I suppose. Do you remember the smell of like exhaust and gasoline being a little bit more present back in the day with like automobiles?
Yeah.
In the 70s and 80s,
for sure.
Like 80s
for sure.
than nowadays.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I can kind of remember when you would see the smoke from it more than, obviously you don't really see it a lot now, and especially with more EVs and hybrids and everything, but
you like smell cars.
Oh yeah, I used to love this as a little kid.
That burning gasoline smell. Yeah, I was thinking about that.
That didn't kill any brain cells.
Sorry, I just needed to have my boomer moment. You can't smell gasoline anymore.
Right.
Whatever happened to that?
Cars today.
Yeah. Kids don't know what they're missing. Now, what were we talking about?
You still had like kids still worked. There were no child labor laws back then.
Yeah.
Back then it was 27 million households. Only 11 million had a phonograph to listen to music, or a car. But it also was a time when things were rapidly progressing from just, 10 years before then, which, because of, mass production, with Ford and creating the assembly line and stuff like that, you had cars were coming out 10 years before, like 1910, it took like a whole day to make one car.
Yeah.
And then by 1926, they were popping out cars within seconds.
And then now that more people are owning cars, things are moving around quicker, people, goods.
Yep. And everything, they had that
faster.
same, exactly. Yeah. So imagine that anxiety of going from like horse and buggy to now there's just cars whipping by at 10 miles an hour.
Okay, so then the modern day equivalent is you're in cars, but now there's like kids and electric scooters that are just whipping by.
Yeah, the e-bikes and even the cars themselves. If you get in a car, I mean, like, they're talking to you and they're, you know what I mean? They're, everything is digital. You don't have to you just kind of get in and it just turns on and everything happens and, so futuristic. But yeah, there's, I mean, think about like healthcare back then wasn't as great. Access to healthcare, even though we talk about how bad access to healthcare is now, back then it was.
Oh, terrible. Well, and the technology wasn't as good as we have either. So
exactly.
Yeah.
There's what you would earn, but then there's certain things too, because you could do, in 1926 you could buy a car for only like 3 months of pay.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. It was a lot different to make it though,
Yeah, they were much simpler. They didn't have a lot going on.
Hard to compare that to nowadays because the cost of making a car was a lot different than the cost to make a car right now. But that's funny.
Then you had but also it was the like women, the flappers. That was big then, and everyone was like freaking out because women were like,
oh my gosh,
dressing skimpy and like going to work and smoking cigarettes.
Yep. Oh no.
There was a lot of this kind of fear of like, women. I mean, not women, but like Americans in general were losing their religious nature. And what I thought too was interesting is that they talked about because of the way, people moving into urban centers, more and more and going to work and working a lot more, that there was this, people are not, because before that people would be at home and the whole family would be at home and there was a lot more family home life.
Yeah.
And this was when, the nuclear family and all this stuff was starting. And there was this fear of like, well, people are outside of the house too much. Like we're losing our family integrity. Where now it's the opposite. People are inside too much.
Yeah.
People aren't going to work. People are,
Yeah.
like ever since COVID, everyone's inside. It's not good. People are on their phones and people are on their computers, So it's interesting to see like the kind of different, fears and trends, back then, compared to now, obviously. And then you had, like the different of going from like such a purely agricultural industry. I mean, this was a huge part of the American economy was agriculture back then. Well, just before 1926. And then by 1926, this was when the factory boom and everything was happening. And, this was like the 40-hour work week started then. There was a lot of different things that were happening in 1926 that was pretty interesting, It's talking about like fears of immigration. This was like the revival of the Ku Klux Klan started back then in the 1920s. There was the nativist sentiment, you had the nativist political groups. You had all these different kind of like keep out the immigrants, obviously, but they're, going after black people, and black people still didn't even have a right to vote back then, So, you had this, I thought this was interesting. It said 1924, there was when Congress choked the immigrant stream to a trickle, closing the era of virtually unlimited entry to the United States. So this was, back then, was the first time that the government started imposing immigration laws and making it harder to come. Before that, it was just like, hey, come on in.
Yeah.
And then they started really, gotta lock it down. There's too many Germans and Irish people coming here.
After a World War or two, they might get a little worried. The world gets a little bit more globalized. Before it was kind of like, hey, if you can get here, you know, if you want to brave that ocean, come right over.
I thought this was interesting. Back then, there was a lawsuit. There was a high school teacher, John T. Scopes, had been indicted for violating Tennessee law by telling his students about evolution.
The Scopes monkey trial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was back then, which is kind of also, in a way, like happening now. You have a lot of the southern states are trying to like cut out evolution from the books, and trying to like, bring back more of the religious dogma into schools. And so I thought that's interesting that 100 years later, that's still kind of a thing, like banning books in 2026.
Yeah.
Manufacturing was advancing faster than working conditions. While the 12-hour workday disappeared in the 1920s, the U.S. Steel Corporation abandoned it in 1923. Or the two-day weekend, no paid vacation, no retirement existed for the average American worker back then. Modern urban consumerism marched forward thanks to explosion of chain stores. This was like 1927 to 1928, Sears Roebuck sales grew by 20%, and Safeway sales grew by nearly 50%. And 1926 saw a bonanza of big company mergers. So it was similar in the era of like monopoly concerns, what's happening now. Bank mergers were even more frequent back then. Practically no industry was more concentrated than electricity. So there was, it's interesting. Go back and see like what was happening back then and, the fears. I mean, there was like doctors telling people that they're, riding bicycles and cars would affect the human body. Like it was bad for you.
Yeah.
Like the train was going to totally mess you up.
Your body's your organs are going to move and slide around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The rate of like children was like super decreased.
Like the birth rate, you mean? Or like the...
Yeah, there was declining birth rates along with the rising wealth. It was like the first time ever where there were more women over 70 than there were girls under 10.
Okay.
Back then. I just thought it was kind of like a weird stat. I was trying to find the one where, although it did make a good like case for the car thing, if I can find it, because it was here we go. So it was, physicians were saying, warning people like the frail human mind was no match for the car, and this is going to mess people up. But then it points to this stat in Germany: the number of patients registered in mental hospitals grew from 40,000 in 1870 to 220,000 in 1910. And over the same period, the share of patients admitted to general hospitals for illnesses of the nervous system rose from 44 to 60%. So, who knows? Maybe it did have a little effect. I'm sure just the kind of the shock to the system, of you have a human body that would pretty much go, not really affected by the speed of the, vehicle it's in for thousands of years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then all of a sudden you're in things that are going,
oh my gosh, you're going 25 miles an hour. Right. Your body can't handle it.
Exactly.
25 miles an hour.
And now we're talking about bringing back the Concorde jet.
Yeah. That goes what?
Mach something.
1.5, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like just breaks the sound barrier.
Hold on, I'm looking this up. Yeah. How fast was the Concorde?
I know one of the reasons they banned it because it was like people's windows would
Mach
shatter.
2.
Mach 2.
Mach 2.02.
Sonic boom.
1,350 miles an hour. Its maximum recorded test speed reached 1,470. Goodness gracious. Wow.
Yeah, they're talking about trying to bring it back. There's like people petitioning the government to get rid of the ban.
Yeah.
I'd like to
Okay.
go. Yeah.
And would you fly
I
in
think
one?
if I could afford it.
Yeah.
Those were pretty expensive tickets back then.
Yeah.
Because it was I think they only went from like New York to London, Paris. It was only a few cities that were like far. Well, one that could, withstand the.
I swear we looked this up before, but yeah, it was like London to New York, 3 to 3.5 hours.
That's
Isn't that
wild.
crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't think you can fly a regular commercial jet from LA to New York that quickly.
No, because it's about 3 hours from Chicago to New York.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. All right, let's take a quick break, and then we come back. We'll get into these lists. What did people think in 1926 about what life would be like today? On Think Theory Radio, right after this.
This is a WCPT Veteran Minute. In the midst of World War II, a group of Native American soldiers known as the Code Talkers became silent heroes. The U.S. military faced challenge of secure communications on the battlefield, and these men, primarily from the Navajo tribe, were enlisted to develop an unbreakable code. Using their native language, which had no written alphabet, they transmitted vital messages that were indecipherable to enemy forces. The code proved to be an essential asset, particularly in the Pacific Theater, where it helped the Allies win crucial battles. The Code Talkers' courage and ingenuity saved countless lives and turned the tide of the war. Yet, their contributions remained largely unknown until decades later. The legacy of the Code Talkers stands as a testament to the strength, resilience, and invaluable service of Native Americans during one of America's most devastating conflicts. This has been a WCPT Veteran Minute.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Welcome back to Think Theory Radio. This is Damien, and today we are talking about what did people 100 years ago think life would be like today?
I don't know. What would they think? I'd try to put myself in that mindset. What would they think? Like,
yeah.
We'd all be crazy or something? Or...
you get kind of both sides. You get this optimistic view.
They'll have access to all this information, so they'll be super, super smart. It's like, well, you're half right.
Right. Kind of. I mean, you have that, and then you have the other side where it's everything's going to be worse because, automation and...
I would think too, like the doom and dread of following like a world war too, where it's like negativity of world politics, I suppose,
but also positivity because there was a lot who thought that World War I was the war to end all wars.
Sure.
So they thought, well, there's never going to be a war again.
The corruption in the White House with like Warren Harding. It depends. Was this 1926 when this was done? When was the exact sort of date that this study was being done?
Well, these articles are from 1926.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's why I thought that was really interesting.
Trying to put myself in the mindset of what's a person from 1926 thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, these Yankees are really tough to beat.
Well, the first one is from critic, newspaper editor, and author James Douglas.
Okay.
In his heyday, he edited two of Britain's longest-running newspapers, The Star from 1908 until 1920, and then The Sunday Express until 1931. And surprisingly, even though he worked for the press, he called for several books to be banned. He was...
Well, he's a British editor. He's not really freedom of the press over here,
Yeah, that's true.
If the king finds it indecent, then I shall... Or the queen. It'd be, Victoria probably, or whoever. No, I guess no, it'd be king at that point, yeah. If the king says that it's indecent, then it should be banned.
Yes. And then he actually, before he gets into his predictions, he kind of muses about what life was like years before. So he says that there's a quote from him. In 1890, when I walked out of Euston Station... I entered a moldy old four-wheeler with damp straw on the floor. There were shining hansoms driven by dandified drivers in smart boxcloth coats, with flowers in their buttonholes, long whips, and glossy top hats. The horses carried bells that jingled merrily as they trotted down Piccadilly. London had a horsey smell. Today it has an oily odor. It is a city of petrol. So we were talking about the smell of gas,
Yeah.
So think about that from, so that was, 36 years, previously, what he thought, the difference.
Seeing the change, yeah. I miss the old stinky horse smell. And we're like, I miss the old stinky car smell. Yeah.
I don't think people in the future can say, I miss that hybrid,
electric,
that, I guess it kind of has some kind of smell.
Maybe, I don't know.
So he says, we were talking about the World War. He says, nations will live in permanent peace. James wrote that post-Great War, he thought of then the war to end all wars, and he no doubt hoped to live through such a conflict again. But, that one he did not get correct.
Yeah. Nope.
Now, I will say that war nowadays has less casualties. Less people die in wars nowadays because of the technology and
they're fought differently. If you would have said to somebody 100 years ago that the Soviet Union would break up or whatever it was 100, and it would be fighting itself oh, it's like a civil war, and it's like, no, there's two separate countries. And it's like, and it went on for 4+ years. Like, oh my gosh, it must have been so bloody. Well, no, not really. I mean, yes.
Yeah, like
yes
a war
and
back
no,
then,
yeah.
the same amount of time would have been probably hundreds of thousands, maybe, what World War I and World War II, like millions.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And went on for, like 4 years of just intense battles,
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, there's more war, and they've created, like, that was the beginning of war for profit back then because of the industrial era, and you had like companies who were starting to manufacture weapons. This was, if you go back to it was the Progress, the World's Fair, but it wasn't called the World's Fair. It was called the Century of Progress Fair, 1933, Chicago.
Yeah.
That was all about the future with technology. They had all these like ideas for innovations, but then when World War II hit, it halted so much because a lot of these companies that were working on more innovative products and things to ease the everyday life, they started to manufacture weapons. And it was, so the profit motive became war, and now it's kind of so ingrained in our economy that, they create, but obviously they keep creating more. It's like, let's make more war, but with less people in it. Like, I could see, like, in future, like, probably not too distant future, it's just going to be wars between robots and AI and drones. And there's, civilians will just be, like, off to the sides in different places. And
it's hilarious because it's like there's, like, high school robot war teams. And it's just like, those are the future. That's the future right there, is those kids building the battle bots. And
yeah. Well, I was reading how they already train, and they train soldiers now. Well, they train them, but they're already doing them in war, and they've been teaching the Ukrainian soldiers how to make drones in battle. So they're in the front line, and they're making their own drones there and sending them up with, either surveillance, or they've got little bombs on them and stuff, and so they're making the robots right there. I mean, I could see that too, where you'd have like a lot, you'd have like the tech core, like military group, behind the barracks or whatever, they're just like making the AI robots and setting them out.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
All right. Number 2 from James Douglas. Diseases, including cancer, will be eliminated. Well, that didn't happen.
No.
We do have better treatments.
Can we ask a scientist instead of a hippy-dippy newspaper guy or whatever?
I do have a couple scientist ones.
That's good.
Including my favorite, Nikola Tesla.
Ooh.
But we'll get to that. Jazz and gramophones will disappear.
Okay, well, yeah. In a way, yes. In a way, no.
Yeah.
Got that kind of right.
He's like a jazz hater.
Probably, yeah. I wonder what he feels about, like...
people in the 80s were like, hip-hop will never be around past...
Right, yeah. But watch, like, if you brought this guy to, like, present day, he'd love, like, dubstep. Jazz is just too crazy. Dubstep, now that's where it's at. That's my jam.
That would be hilarious. Or he's, like, super into death metal.
Yeah.
What is this? This bangs, dude. So he did get, gramophones. Yeah, there's no gramophones. There are still record players. Sidetrack, though, because I was at the White Sox game last night, and they do this, like, question, like, quick, rapid question thing to the players on the scoreboard.
Oh, yeah.
And it was Chase Mydroff, and I asked him, one of the questions was, what does a CD stand for?
Oh, gosh, he had no idea.
No.
Oh, no. Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, because he's, 24, something
Probably, yeah.
He also, James Douglas, not Chase Mydroff.
I got kids that age and they know what a CD is, but I don't know if they know what it stands for. That's...
Yeah. Cinemas will close.
Okay, that didn't happen, but at the same time, they're kind of less of a thing than they used to be.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, especially since COVID, I think that before that, they were taking a hit because of streaming and stuff like that, but I think it was still a pretty big thing to go out to the movies.
It still is for certain shows.
For sure.
But what's crazy
is
is
come
like
back a little bit.
The stuff I've seen, It's just been me and my buddy in the theater, but it's also I would go at off-peak times. You know, it's like a Monday night, you know, on a show that not a lot of people are seeing, but still, like, it never used to be like that. It used to be rare if I was at a movie theater and we were the only people there. You know, no matter what the show.
I do think there's been kind of a return to like smaller theaters.
Yeah.
I know, like when they reopened the Logan Theater.
Like the single screen or whatever type of places,
Yeah, the 400 just got reopened. It was an old school theater in Rogers Park that closed down. They got bought by this company that owns a small theater in a small town in Michigan.
Okay.
So there's, I don't know. I could see it more because it's a little more intimate, but they also offer like the Music Box, great theater to go to. They do a lot of more like independent films, animation, and new stuff too. But there and like the Logan Theater and I think the 400, they all have bars inside. So like that's kind of a newer trend too in recent years of having the availability of like alcohol and different beverages. Where I remember for years, I mean, when I growing up, there was no alcohol and except for the bottle.
What was the Vicks?
Except for what we snuck in.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but the Vicks Brew and View.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's right.
But the McHenry Outdoor Theater, there's still that. You know, like that's apparently popular enough to keep that going. So yeah, I know what you mean. That like there's still people going out to the movies, but just not as much. But like this guy thought there'd be no cinema, and I wonder why. Like, what was his rationing for? His rational.
I think because it was the year before 1925 was the first like television broadcast.
Okay.
But nobody had TVs
I was gonna
yet,
say,
but
it's
it was
still
like
early. Yeah. I guess the idea that it would exist, though, like scanning pictures out of thin air, like, oh, well, they'll do that if they can do that. So,
and I mean, you had silent films were around.
Yeah,
so
that's
people were
true.
starting
That's
to
right.
Go, maybe he just
talkies
thought
had
that
just about to happen.
it would be more in-home stuff. Radio's taking over. I don't know.
Yeah.
He thought that we'd live in a vegetarian age by now. Which
I'm telling you, this guy's a hippie.
The OG hippie, 1926.
It was going to be peace, no meat.
Right.
And it's going to be everyone's going to get along, man.
And I think part of it was because he just thought, though, with the vegetarian one was the
no jazz, and it's going to be so great. We're going to ban books. And,
But I think it was kind of because he thought that population would be so big, there wouldn't be enough. You couldn't have enough meat to feed people, so it'd be easier to like feed off of wheat and veggies.
That is kind of a thing right now.
He predicted that women will return to more modest dress.
How does he feel about yoga pants?
Yeah, that's a good one too, because it's technically they're fully covered.
Yeah.
So that one, although there is kind of like some throwbacks to that. I mean, I think you do have like, there's a lot like, what did they call, like, grandma pants. So grandma jeans became kind of a new trend. Where it's like the bigger baggy jeans.
That's true. Yeah.
One, machines will save us time. That one he got kind of right.
Yeah. I mean, but that's kind of a given though. That's just like, rivers will move, you know, the sun will shine.
Yeah, machines, but think about like they didn't even have anything. I mean, they had no dishwashers back then, no washing machines for clothes.
I think they started to have like ideas of it. They just weren't mechanically powered. So like I don't know if he knew the how crazy it would get.
Right.
But I have a feeling that it was like he had an idea that it's like technology will improve.
Where
like,
it could go.
Like instead of a push mower, you had a motorized lawnmower or something,
True. He thought we'd be doing the 4-day work week.
4-day work week? Oh,
yeah.
well,
but he also thought it'd be no more than 4 hours a day and a 4-day work week, which in some
16 hours a week of work. I would love that.
I know, right? Which is kind of, when you think about this push for more technology, AI, computer systems, it's really kind of where we should be going, but it's as, kind of this increase of rapid technology, digital technology just kind of creates more work in other areas.
Yeah.
It's like instead of we're working less, you're just bringing work home with you. you know? I mean, there is more flexibility now, kind of work life. People can work from home. You can work from different places. You don't have to always, 9 to 5 it.
Yeah.
So there's although I do think people have more jobs nowadays. There's like not really the
it's not like you have your one job and you're supporting the family with it. It's everybody's working. There's probably like 7 jobs for a family of 5.
Yeah, right. Young Timmy's got 3 jobs.
Right.
He's working at the coal mine. He's 10 years old. There's another guy, Reverend Carl Knudsen, writing in the Zion's Herald in 1926, gave a couple predictions. He thought that we'll be able to communicate from 4,000 miles away, which we actually can communicate much farther.
Yeah, 4,000 miles. We can do like the whole world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole world, whatever that is.
12,000. Well, I guess it's 25,000 around. So, I mean, you can't say from 25,000 miles away because that's what we're doing right now. If I turn this way.
Dude, we just talked around the world to each other, man.
See? Yeah, I can't believe you heard me. That's crazy. Yeah.
Whoa.
So we'll go halfway, 12,500.
He also thought thought there would be restrictions will be lifted on migration. He imagined a world where boundary lines would disappear and migration would be commonplace.
So this guy's a hippie too.
Yeah. But that also did not happen. Let's see what else. I got another one. I got more. This is some. It's weird though, like how there was a bunch from like 1926. I don't know
what a year. Yeah, what?
I don't know. Maybe because it was the 150th birthday of.
Since America's the greatest thing ever, tell us what's going to happen when it's 250.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
or maybe it's just the kind of the era they were in. Because there was a lot of change, a lot of technology. Yeah, rapid. They thought, hey, let's see what do you guys think? 100 years.
There's going to be a radio show 100 years from now that's going to need to know this. Radio's still a thing? Well,
yeah, I know. See? Who knew?
Yeah.
But think of the combo of the fact that we're talking on radio. That was a huge thing in 1926. I mean, people would meet and gather around. They even used...
Much like they do right now.
Yeah. I'm sure whole families are just listening to Think Theory Radio right now.
Parked in front of the radio right now, listening to what's Paul and Damien, what are they going to say this week?
And they would use it as a verb, actually.
Eating their Think
radio.
Radio.
No, they would say, hey, you're going to go radio tonight?
Oh, yeah, you're going to go radio tonight? Yeah, I've got Paul and Damien on the Think Theory.
I can't wait. 6 p.m.
What are they going to talk about tonight? Hopefully something really interesting.
Will automatons take over the planet?
They're landing right now. Yeah. Get back to your home.
And as Damien here on Think Theory Radio, today we'll be talking about automatons. These are from a Akron Beacon Journal.
That's still a newspaper, I think.
Okay, you might be right. This was he talked to the documents predictions of various scientists and professors from back then, and here's some of the things they got right. We had John Carlyle, who was a communist. Maybe he was a communist. I don't know. Columnist. He was a communist.
Yeah, he's one of them newspaper men.
He thought dressmaking, cooking, and other occupations of the housewife will be undertaken for her by specialists, which is kind of, people go you get the nail salon,
yeah,
parlor. I mean, if you have enough money, you can have it in-house, and they'll tailor your stuff for you and dress you and things. But
that's true.
David Deitz was a science writer and Pulitzer Prize winner. That travel will be chiefly by air, is what he predicted, which I don't know if you could. I mean, there's obviously way more air travel now than in 1926, but I don't know if I would say that's chiefly what people are doing. I would say driving is probably still the most. I mean, if by sheer numbers, I would think, right?
Yeah.
The driving would be more than flying.
Yeah. Well, wait. More people drive than fly.
Yeah, he predicted that it would be more by air.
I mean, I suppose if the infrastructure was correct, you could have done it. I mean,
well, they never gave us those flying cars that were all in all the movies and shows
maybe
that
that's
I
what the
watched.
guy thought. But it's like the transportation has never been like regulated well enough to a point where the rail was good, the air was good. I mean, I guess the air is regulated now to the point where it's like pretty good. They have it figured out. But I was just thinking like, you'd have routine shuttle flights like Chicago to New York or something. But I mean, essentially, I guess it is that.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. They're like a little bit more simplified, though.
More like the train or the bus or something, I guess. But I guess it is if you really think about it. I don't know.
Well, the other person, author Cyril H. Bretherton, said the motor car will be the universal form of transportation, which I think that's
more or less
correct assessment.
Yeah.
Jean Norris, first woman magistrate in New York City, believed that ceremonial marriage will largely be discarded and promiscuous relations without book or ring will be the mode.
Yeah.
Well, she was a suffragette.
I mean, I don't know if that was totally the mode, but that's a lot.
It's definitely much more the mode than 1926.
Absolutely. More than 1976.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah, for sure. It's but yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty bold prediction for 1926 too, from a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And then similar Dutch-American historian and author Hendrik Willem van Loon said that couples will only live together as long as the love lasts and not a day longer.
Seems about right.
Yeah.
I mean, although you have those like weird couples that are like, well, we got to wait for the lease to end before we like totally break up. So like, yeah, that's her boyfriend. He's been coming around. Oh, I got like 2 more months, man.
Chained by economics.
My job's right there, man. I told her to leave. She didn't want to.
Well, here's some that hasn't happened yet from back then. Women will do most of the governing. War will be unthinkable. Hospitals and sanitariums will replace prisons. School teachers will be the most highly paid and respected members of the community, said syndicated columnist Frank Crane.
Okay, Frank.
He was a very optimistic fellow.
Right, yeah. Nope, did not happen.
I like this one. Author Cyril H. Bretherton again said that Americans will have become indigestion proof.
Oh, boy.
That one's way off.
I mean, maybe.
No.
I mean, like, we have all the different ways to combat it pretty quickly.
Yeah, but it's
had
hard to
that
say.
Then, though, didn't
know.
they have all that then, though? Like Tums and all that stuff?
Yeah,
like
something similar at least.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if we've improved.
I would say there's more digestive issues nowadays because of like processed foods and
and like
overeating
and stuff that we've discovered too. Never put a name on.
I mean, can you imagine if you took someone from 1926 into 2026 and they saw how much people eat?
Yeah,
and what they eat, it would blow their minds.
Oh yeah, for sure. And probably putting them on that diet right away. How much it would change them.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Because I mean that was it was it was very expensive to eat the way that we eat now back then. I mean, it's expensive now to do it, but back then it would have been. You would have been in the poorhouse.
Oh, yeah.
And to just go out and eat 3 times a day, or whatever, and just gorge on huge meals.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think you could have done that back then. Hornell Hart, professor of sociology at Bryn Mawr College, said, thanks to scientific advances, the average lifespan in 2026 will be around 100 years old.
Average lifespan.
Average. And this will not be considered old, with many people living much longer. Nope.
A little wishful thinking.
Although we have increased our average, but it's 78.4.
Yeah.
Is where we're at right now.
I mean, like to live to 100 is very, very possible.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely more people that live to 100 now.
And people have lived over 100 years old, like 117 is the record or near that, I want to say. Right? Yeah. At least that we know of, or the modern day sort of
When
thing.
you get like those blue zones, there's a lot more people that are like, what do you call them? Centenarians.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We have David Deitz again, science writer and Pulitzer Prize winner, said that every nation on earth will prohibit immigration because they will already have the largest population they can sustain. So he was on the opposite side. He said that they're going to, make immigration harder.
Yeah.
Because we already got too many people.
Country's full up. Too many people.
Right. And then here's another one. The veggie Arthur G. McCall, professor of geology at the University of Maryland, said everyone will be vegetarian by 2026 because we will no longer have enough land to produce meat.
I don't think that's true.
He believed that all the land was going to be taken up because we're just going to chop everything down, building cities. There's not going to be any more land, man. But if there's no land to produce meat, you wouldn't have land to produce vegetables either. So
yeah. Maybe you thought you could grow them at the top buildings in the city, and I don't know.
Yeah. Which they do.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what these people were thinking 100 years ago. It's funny.
It's interesting. Author Alice M. Williamson said married couples would live in dignified separateness in separate but adjoining homes.
We could all hope.
I think
Just kidding. Love you, honey.
I think a lot of couples would be down with that, but you can't afford it.
No, yeah, that's the she shed or the man cave or whatever. Yeah.
Carrie Chapman Catt, former suffrage leader, just said simply, "World peace will be a fact." Oh, nope.
I mean, maybe in the sense that we talk about all the wars and stuff, but I think on some regard, there's got to be like a civilian to civilian where it's like we're not so nationalistic. Like, I don't hate Iranian people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like if it was like I was talking to someone from Iran, it's like, hey, man, sorry our government's doing the thing to your people.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, I think there's more compassion.
Yes, there's maybe that, whereas I don't know if you'd get that so easily back in the day, like to be so like politically attuned that you're not necessarily so nationalistic about.
Yeah. And I think there's with the, the rise of, the internet, social media, and you have more of visibility of what's really happening in wars and to people in other countries than we've ever had, you know? And I think like if we would have had that back then, or even in, let's say the Iraq war in the 1990s, views would have been a lot different.
Yeah.
People would have seen, okay, wait a minute, this is not right. I don't support this on both sides of the aisle, Here's an interesting one. The Reverend Charles L. White, president of the Home Missions Council, said, in 2026, the U.S. president's name will end in either Vitch or Ski, and he will have the blood of 20 nations flowing in his veins.
No, but I'm sure saying Barack Obama would have blown their minds 100 years ago.
For sure. I mean, Vitch, Vance, it's a little close.
Is that even... Is that even his last name, though?
I know, right? Yeah. Maybe it's Vance Vichinich or something.
Right, yeah. No, I thought his whole bit was like he got adopted or...
Oh, yeah.
But that's... I don't know. Well, we almost had like Dukakis would have been close to that, but that's more like Greek rather than I think this guy's saying Polish, Czech, German.
But also just
stuff,
super mixed because he's saying that we'll have the blood of 20 nations flowing in his veins. And I mean, I think that part might be a little true because, I mean, most people are pretty...
But, think of how much of a blue blood Donald Trump is and, all
but
those guys,
fake, though. When so if they did the DNA test, you'd probably see he has African blood, Irish, German, whatever.
But I guess
else
it's because that guy didn't know that they had that. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
I don't think the presidents of nowadays are any more diverse than the ones that we had before. You know, especially because George W. Bush was the great grandson of Franklin Pierce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think even Trump is related to
something like that.
Yeah,
even Obama
King
somehow
Henry
is. Yeah. So,
because it's all set up, man. The lineage of the royal family goes back to the Egyptian king. Oh, never mind. That's a different show.
I'm with you. We're just have 5 minutes left. That's all.
We got 5 minutes left. What's going on? We didn't even take another break. Should we take another break or just run through it?
Well, can you do it?
Yeah, let's
do it. Yeah.
Let's not take a break.
No, we're not going to do it.
No, we're not taking a break.
Not taking a break.
Those bills will pay themselves,
There's nothing. It was just a Richard Chew talking about candidate interviews.
Oh, okay.
That's it. That's We're getting no money for that. You, me, Richard, or the station. Nobody gets paid for that.
But there was some predictions that got pretty close. Or people would use pocket-sized apparatus for communications to see and hear other without being in the same room. That's a pretty good prediction from 100 years ago.
Or something, or what? Like
he just said pocket-sized apparatus for communications.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Right. Tesla said a similar thing, which actually, since when
Tesla probably had one. Tesla was probably making one for all we know.
Yeah, he definitely was working on it.
If they could just invent the internet.
Right.
Like he would have made it to like watch his cat or something, you know?
Well, I love this one. So he did an interview in Collier's in January 30th, 1926. And the title of the article is called When Woman is Boss. And that was like his prediction for the year. A new sex order is coming with the female as superior. You will communicate instantly by simple vest pocket equipment. Aircraft will travel the skies unmanned, driven and guided by radio, drones.
Yeah.
Enormous power will be transmitted great distances without wires. True. Earthquakes. Earthquakes will become more and more frequent.
Yeah, well, recently there was like a burst of them.
Temperate zones will turn frigid or torrid.
Yeah.
It's been kind of happening. And some of these awe-inspiring developments, said Tesla, are not that far off. So he was 68 back in this interview. There's a quote from him. From the inception of the wireless system, he says, I saw that this new art of applied electricity would be of a greater benefit to the human race than any other scientific discovery, for it virtually eliminates distance. The majority of the ills from which humanity suffers are due to the immense extent of the terrestrial globe and the inability of individuals and nations to come into close contact. Wireless will achieve the closer contact and transmission of intelligence, transport our bodies and materials, and conveyance of energy. Now, here's an interesting one. When wireless is perfectly applied, the whole Earth will be converted into a huge brain, which, in fact, it is, he says. All things being particles of a real and rhythmic whole. We shall be able to communicate with one another instantly, irrespective of distance. Not only this, but through television and telephony, or telephones, whatever, we shall see and hear one another as perfectly as though we were face to face, despite intervening distances of thousands of miles. And the instruments through which we shall be able to do this will be amazingly simple compared to our present telephone. A man will be able to carry one in his vest pocket. We shall be able to witness and hear events, the inauguration of a president, the playing of a World Series game, the havoc of an earthquake, or the terror of a battle, just as though we were present. When the wireless transmission of power is made commercial, transport and transmission will be revolutionized. Already, motion pictures have been transmitted by wireless over a short distance. Later, the distance will be illimitable, and by later, I mean only a few years hence. Pictures are transmitted over wires. They were telegraphed successfully through the point system 30 years ago. When wireless transmission of power becomes general, these methods will be as crude as is the steam locomotive compared with the electric train.
Okay.
Let's see what else he said. I'm trying to read a good one. Because some of it's similar to what the other people. So you'll be able to ride from New York to Europe in a few hours. Mention the Concorde. International boundaries will be largely obliterated, and a great step will be made forward towards the unification and harmonious existence of the various races inhabiting the globe. Well, that didn't really happen either. Modern systems of power transmission will become antiquated. Compact relay stations, 1/2 or 1/4 the size of our modern power plants, will be the basis of operation in the air and under the sea, for water will affect small loss in conveying energy by wireless, which is kind of true in a way, too, because a lot of the data centers and computer systems, they harness the power of the water to cool them and everything. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting, some of this stuff, what he thought. The struggle of the human female towards sex equality will end in a new sex order of the female superior, the modern woman who anticipates in merely superficial phenomena the advancement of her sex, but is but a surface system of something deeper and more potent fermenting in the bosom of the race.
Is that true?
I mean, they definitely have gained more power. I mean, there's more women in power than ever before. You know, Alma's had a woman president.
Leaders, female leaders of different countries. Yeah.
He believed that that this would lead to us being more bee-like. Yeah,
bee-like.
Yeah, like bees.
Okay.
He envisioned
the hive, the queen.
Yeah, he
bee
envisioned like a queen as the center of like a queen bee.
No, we haven't had that.
No, we haven't.
I mean,
had
unless you want to consider Trump the queen bee.
I don't want to insult women by saying that.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's really working for him, too. I think there's a lot of drones. I don't think there's a lot of workers.
There's comparing it to bees. Said there are the vast desexualized armies of workers whose sole aim and happiness in life is hard work. There's the perfection of communism, of socialized cooperative life, wherein all things, including the young, are the property and concern of all. So he goes on this whole tangent of like bees and like how, the bee, like that's the perfect structure for some kind of society.
What kind of honey did he think that we were going to make?
What's interesting is that part of it is because he, in his later years, he would only eat wheat, honey, and milk.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's just like beekeeping and thinking like, that's it. They figured it out. Yep. We're the dummies.
Mm-hmm. He was opposed to like, he became like more of a, obviously in his later years of life, he was only eating honey, wheat, and milk.
Yeah.
But he believed he didn't like any stimulants, although he did believe that alcohol was the elixir of life. Such an interesting fellow.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's it we didn't get a chance to make our predictions for 21-26. We'll do that at the end of the year.
Well, yeah, we'll have to do that. Yeah, I've got nothing. I'll have to write that, you know?
There we go. So we got 6 months to the end of the year. We can do that.
We have to remind ourselves and not be stupid and forget.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we have this to remind us.
Yeah, right. Remind us, folks.
Think Theory Radio next week. Bye.
Child abuse is not a bad parent problem.
And the causes may be different than you think.
You see, paid family leave,
that prevents child abuse.
And high-quality, affordable child care
prevents child abuse, too.
Prevent Child Abuse America promotes policies, programs, and resources that build healthier communities and a stronger economy.
Because when we keep families out of crisis,
we prevent child abuse
from ever happening.
Go to kidssay.org to learn more.
Let's solve child abuse before it ever happens.
You're listening to WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk station, where facts matter and truth always wins. Stay informed, stay engaged. When facts matter, you turn to WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk.
A fair balance where the facts come out.
Real news, real talk.
NBC News Radio. I'm Rob Martier. The United States imposed 50% tariffs on some Canadian products after trade talks between the countries fell through. In response, Canada said it will impose its own retaliatory tariffs starting on September 8th. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney.
We're a proud, independent country. We've got the right values. We'll make our decisions about who we want to trade with and how.